Hey guys, this video lesson is going over mean absolute deviation, also known as M.A.D. Please make sure you have the notes open so you can be following along with me. Alright, so what is M.A.D? M.A.D again stands for mean absolute deviation. It's a fancy way of just stating, on average, how far each data set or each data piece is from the mean of the data set. We have our steps. We're going to follow those every single time. Step one is to find the mean of the data set. We did this yesterday. We add up all of our numbers, divide by the number of numbers there are. Step two, we're going to take each data piece from the set and find the distance that number is away from the mean. And then step three, find the mean of the distances. Again, these three steps are not going to change. We're going to practice with them, so bear with me. Let's try one together. All right, let's take a look. So step one, we're just finding the mean of the data set that is given. So at the top here, we have our 5 numbers. To find the mean, we have to add them together. So 9 plus 6 plus 12 plus 10 plus 8. You have a calculator, go ahead and type them in. When you do that, you should get 45. Once we add them all together, we divide by the number of data points in our data set. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. 45 divided by 5 gives me a mean of 9 for this data set. Step 2, find the distance. So what that means is we need to find the distance from the mean, which we just figured out was 9, and each of the data points. So we'll look at our first data set or data piece right here, which was the number 9, and we're comparing it to the mean. Well, on a number line, 9 is 0 units away from 9, so we'll put a 0. Next, we have the number 6. On a number line, 6 is 3 units away from the number 9. Next data point was the number 12. 12 is 3 units away from 9 on a number line. And remember, we're talking distance, so all of these numbers should be positive. If you have to use absolute value or think that way, that's absolutely okay. I like to use a number line, kind of visual learner on that. Next data point was 10. When I compare it to our mean 9, that is 1 unit away. And then our last point was the number 8. Compare it to our mean, which was 9. They're 1 unit apart. Step 3 is to find the mean of those 5 distances. So add them all together. You should get 8. In order to find mean, you add them up, then divide by the numbers you have. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 data pieces. So 8 divided by 5 gives us a M.A.D of 1.6. All right, let's try another one. So here's our data set at the top. Step 1, find the mean of the data set. Go ahead, take a moment, plug that in your calculator, add up your numbers at the top. Hopefully you added them together and you should have gotten 553. In order to find the mean, you add them all together, then divide by the amount of data pieces you have, which in this case is 7. Go ahead and type that in your calculator. When you did that, you should have gotten 79 as the mean here. Step 2 is to find the distance between each of our data points and our mean. So let's start at the beginning. I have the number 30 and I have 79. Well, on a number line, 30 is 49 units away from 70. 30 is 49 units away from 79. If you don't know that off the top of your head, remember you can always do that subtraction problem quickly off to the side, and it should always give you a positive number. If it doesn't, you should do absolute value. All right, next point is 75, and we're comparing it to 79. That is 4 units away. 80 and 79, that's 1 unit apart. 88 and 79, that is 9 units apart. 90 and 79, that's 11. Another 90 and 79, that's again 11 units. last but not least, comparing 100 to 79 is 21 units apart. Step 3 is to add up all of these numbers, divide by how many you have, in order to find the mean of these distances. So add them all together. You should get 106. Then we're dividing by the amount of data pieces we have, which is 7. 106 divided by 7 should get you a MAD of 15.1. If you look at the very bottom here, it does ask us one extra question on this one. It says, what is the outlier? Remember, that's the outcast, right? That's the one that does not make sense or fit in with the rest of this data set. If you take a look at all of our numbers, we have 75, 80, 88, 90, 90, 100, and then the number 30. That one does not fit in, so that's our outcast, that's our outlier. All right, same idea, finding the MAD. Step 1, find the mean. Should type in all of those numbers. And when you do that, add them all together, you get 540. Divide by the amount of data pieces you have, which is 6. 540 divided by 6 gives you a mean of 90. So comparing that to each of our data points, we have 85 compared to 90. That's 5 units apart. 90 compared to 90, well, that's 0 units apart. 190, 10 units apart. 95 and 90, 5 units. 75 and 90, 15. 95 and 90, 5 units apart. Step 3, find the mean of those distances. When you add all of those numbers together, you should get 40. Divide by how many numbers you have, which is 6. And you should get a MAD of 6.7. That's our MAD. All right, this last one says, if the MAD for a set of grades is 3, what statement might you be able to say about the grades if the mean was 80 out of 100%? So if you take a look, A says student scores were between 80 and 83 on average. Student scores were 83. All students got B's. Student scores were between 77 and 83 on average. So let's think back. Remember, MAD is on average how far the data pieces are from the mean of the data set. So we cannot infer that all students got B's, right? We don't know that for sure because we don't have the list of data points. We also don't know for sure that student scores were all 83. Lastly, if a MAD for a set of grades is 3, that means the average distance from the mean, which we already know is 80, is 3 above and 3 below. So for letter A, where it says student scores were between 80 and 83 on average, well, we already know the average was 80. So it's not between 80 and 83. They already told us the mean or the average was 80%. So it can't be letter A either. D would be the correct answer here. Because 3 above 80 is 83. 3 below 80 was 77. That is the average deviation for the grades.